And what a lively dance it was. It was believed the more prolonged and strenuous the dance, the more spider venom would be flushed out of the body through the victim's sweat. These were medieval times, when such frenzied revelry was as forbidden as unbridled sex. But the epidemic lasted over 300 years, and the tarantella is still with us today.
Lors du premier soin que j'ai fait avec Alessandra, je suis rentrée en transe et j'ai vu la madone noire ou une madone noire qui me tendait la main.
D'ailleurs, elle commence par ramper sur le sol, ensuite elle se lève, enfin elle imite un comportement d'araignée très stylisé, et elle danse jusqu'à épuisement, jusqu'à l'exorcisme.
Diva Shaman is my vision for a film and television series about me, Alessandra Belloni, and my life's work as an artist and healer as I travel around the world, performing and teaching my workshops mainly to women and transforming their lives. And people call me a force of nature or a Mediterranean volcano as I draw on the power of the tarantella trance, dance and drumming. I will take you on a journey of discovery, mysticism, erotic empowerment and joy, bringing relief from pain to troubled women using the tarantella that I call the spider dance, a tool for healing and transformation. This dance is a cure for abuse, repressed sexuality, feeling powerless and caught in an imaginary spider web that binds us. A feeling that causes many women, known in the Italian language as tarantate, to suffer a malady called tarantismo, a lethal mixture of depression, loneliness, oppression, attributed to the mythical bite of the tarantula, also known as the bite of love. In this series, you will watch me as I initiate women into this path of feminine empowerment, drawing on the power of the Black Madonna, the ancient Mother Earth goddess, through this musical exorcism. Before modern medicine and psychotherapy, there was shamanism, and you may be surprised to know it still exists. A shaman is a gifted person that can travel through dimensions using drumming and trance dances to bring about healing. And I've been told many times that I am such a shaman whose power can transform lives. Viewers will experience vivid first-hand accounts of people whose lives are changed, witness actual healing ceremonies, and experience unforgettable joy.
So today is my last day of the workshop, and but at the same time it's a new beginning for me. I feel empowered, I feel renewed, yes, through the week with you, with wonderful group that you brought together, and in this wonderful environment. I feel healed, cleansed, renewed and transformed, but also empowered. I'm very sad to leave, but at the same time I know that I will follow you wherever I can, because you are changing my life.
My name is Alessandra Belloni, and I'm from Italy, but I live in New York, and people call me the Diva Shaman. So if you follow me, the Diva Shaman, to New York, California, Brazil, Hawaii, and then in Tuscany, you'll understand what my world is like. It's very exciting, you won't get bored. And it's also a very interesting path, because we will follow the Black Madonna, and you'll find out who she is, and the drumming for the Black Madonna. The Black Madonna is the female embodiment of God, as God has no gender. She is the Mother Earth goddess, the archetype of the divine feminine. Her power hails from the fact that she impacts all of humanity in a very global and inclusive way. She embraces everyone, and everyone has access to her divine spirit and power. And she is the Black Madonna because she represents the cradle of humanity, which began in Africa. Throughout my life, I always had premonitions through dreams that had led me to anticipate everything from natural disaster to the World Trade Center bombing to the space shuttle explosion in Cape Canaveral, and as well as getting off the TWA Flight 800, which exploded at JFK in 1996. And later on, then I understood that this is a shamanic power, and I started to train to understand what was happening. I was an actress as a child, so I was cast by a very famous actress, Anna Magnani, to work in a play La Lupa with Zeffirelli. Sir Laurence Olivier was a dream, obviously, as a child. My sister, who was a filmmaker and a writer, she took off for New York in 1970. She didn't come back after a year, and my mom was a very unusual, intelligent woman, and for that era, decided to take me to New York to visit her for a month, and I stayed. I never went back in 1971, because I saw that there was the key to my freedom. As a woman in Italy, I would not have a chance to be free, to be an artist, and to express myself. So I came here following my American dream. When I heard this folk music, it really hit me. I met John LaBarbera in the village, and we started this group called the Giullari di Piazza, which means the players, the jesters of the square. Had no idea where that would take us. That was in 1979. And then I realized that to do this music and this theater and dance and drumming, you can only learn from the source, and you gotta go to where the old people are doing these rituals, which are very, very beautiful. So I spent many years taking part in powerful trance ceremonies in the south of Italy, learning the tarantella and its healing power, blessed to learn from the old peasant women and men who kept the ancient wisdom. And this is my personal artistic and spiritual journey, going through the south of Italy, from town to town, discovering this beautiful, powerful tradition. And I worked really hard to learn the drumming, which is so difficult. Drumming and dancing all night, all day for 7 hours, and I never got tired. That's when I realized it has some power to release if you let go. It is then that I discovered the mysterious, powerful Black Madonna, the ancient Mother Earth goddess, the divine feminine, the African archetype of the mother. And during the feast for the Black Madonna, I heard women chant for hours beautiful ancient prayers for the mother. And I wrote an opera called The Voyage of the Black Madonna, which brought me to the beautiful Cathedral of St. John the Divine. And in 1986, the first time that I was dancing the pizzica tarantata, I was diagnosed with dysplasia, and I had a vision of the Black Madonna after the surgery of cancerous cells in the cervix, and she told me that I had to feel other people's pain. This is your song. Ave Maria, unctissimus concarentes. Ave Maria, Pariesque Filium, audite carissimi. Pariesque Filium, audite carissimi. Vocabis Iesum. Ave Maria, Ave Maria. I realized this cure works. It's not just something of the past. It was not something I put on stage for show. It really works. And years later, I got sick again. And I healed myself of irregular bleeding actually while dancing the tarantella, the pizzica tarantata, which is an ancient form of music and dance therapy and a musical exorcism that cured mainly women afflicted by the bite of the spider, the tarantula, women known as tarantate. And these women suffered from a form of depression known as tarantismo, usually caused by unrequited love or sexual abuse. And they felt caught in the spider web of their society. And their only cure was the dance, the tarantella, which originated as a dance of liberation for the ecstatic orgiastic rites of Dionysus, god of ecstasy and wine. And since then, I've decided to help other women with this dance, and I've actually healed some women from cysts, different traumas, and this work led me to meet really amazing women, just like my good friend, Professor Dolores de Luis.
I got the CD, and I was totally in love with this music. I was totally in love with you. I think this is the most fantastic thing I've ever heard. I went to your show in New York. Joyce said, I'm taking some classes. Why don't you come? And at first I said no, because at the time I had broken this wrist, and it was a very bad fracture. So for 4.5 months I had a cast on. It was very difficult recovery because I had pain here from a tendon, a ligament. As a result of being in the cast for 4 months, I also had arthritis in all these joints and was receiving treatments that, injections that weren't working that well. So when I met you, I was unable to pick up a piece of paper, and my hands were very painful. But I really wanted to take a class in the tambourine because I was so enervated by this new music that I was hearing, the pizzica and so on. I thought, well, I'll take this lesson and I'll have a lot of pain during the lesson. So I did the lesson. It went on forever, and I was in a lot of pain. But I continued, I finished it, and then I thought, well, that was really exciting. It's too bad that I have this problem, otherwise I would continue. And I expected fully the next day to wake up in excruciating pain. Well, there was no pain the next day, and I also had a hard lump at the base of this finger. In 3 days, that was gone. And now I have full use of and strength in my hands, and I play the drum.
That I have.
So I would have to say I've had a miracle of sorts.
So now let's do the exorcism. So people started telling me that I am a shaman, and ended up studying shamanism in different parts of the world. And then I started my healing workshops in Tuscany in 2001 in this beautiful villa. And there I had incredible experiences, especially with some women who have been sexually abused. The first one was Asa from Sweden that I met in Glastonbury. She had tried to kill herself many times and came to Tuscany to study with me for 8 years. And she healed from depression and suicide mania through the dance of the tarantella and the drumming. She now has a happy life and a baby daughter. And then other women came to me from different parts of the world, like a young woman from Glastonbury, England, and another one from France, both abused by their stepfathers, who actually never went to jail. And these young women actually transformed their emotional and physical traumas during the dance of the tarantella and with visions of the Black Madonna. So my work is about transformation and empowerment. I empower other women sexually and can guide them into their sacred sexuality and help them release the poison that is caught in their web, or actually their womb. Through the dance and the drumming, especially the tambourines, the frame drums. These were ancient instruments used by the priestesses of the goddess of the earth. and playing the fast, obsessive 6/8 rhythm of the tarantella, I actually learned that I can lead musical exorcism, as I did last summer in Tuscany, with a person possessed by an entity. During this ceremony, I do enter the spirit world, and I see blood come out of the womb, if the woman has been abused especially. And when the healing finally happens, I do see the spider caught inside the womb jump out, usually of different colors. And mainly I feel guided by the Black Madonna and connect to the ancient spider medicine. And of course, all kinds of strange things happen around me when I travel around the world or even near my home. For example, if I'm chanting to the sun when it's raining, the sun comes out. Or if I'm drumming on the beach in Calabria, the volcano starts exploding. And I have that on camera. And one person that can tell you all the wild things that happen around me is my good friend Vincenza, who is a dance therapist.
I'm Vincenza Dante. Now I've been dancing since I'm 4 years old, and I went to school for dance therapy. I have a master's degree in dance therapy. When I met you, it was at the Rosendale Cafe about 4 years ago. Then you started to play the drum, and I said, I've never seen anybody play a drum like this.
You never saw that?
No, we never had that growing up. So I felt like a cellular memory, of the music. And particularly, I think when you were doing the pizzica, and I was like, what is this? Because it felt, and then I think you said it was from Puglia. And I said, oh my God, this is my roots. This is why, because I felt it like a lightning bolt when I finally got to do workshops with you and see what your work really is. And then I started to realize, this woman's not just a performer. She's a shaman. She's a healer. She's a dance therapist.
I'm now admitting that to myself.
Right. She's a dance therapist, because I watched what you did, and I started to realize all the things I had learned as a dance therapist. Those were elements of what you do.
With the pizzica tarantella, the way that you do it, we're in a circle, and you have marked the center of the circle with the white sheet, right, which is the center. And as you start doing something which in dance therapy we call synchrony, rhythmic synchrony,
right,
means that we're all moving in the same rhythm. And there's spatial synchrony, which means we're all moving in the same direction, going forward and back. And there's also effort synchrony, which means that we're moving with the same kind of movement dynamic. So it's one of the synchrony is a healing process that's in dance therapy. We recognize that when people move as a group in synchrony, they form a group mind and a group intention, and then there's a power created. And the circle is used in dance therapy all the time because it brings all the energy together.
Right.
Everyone in the group is together, and we're all focused on that center, and the middle is like where the magic happens. That's where the healing happens. And things become released, the emotional toxins become released.
When they vomited on me the first 2 years in Tuscany, it was a bit of a shock. So
It's different to read about it.
So I read about that, but I didn't realize it could really happen like that.
Wherever they're holding in the body, there's different parts, like people tend to hold a lot in the chest. Grief gets held a lot in the chest. Yeah. The sexuality is locked up in the pelvis. There's different parts of the body where people are frozen. Right. And when we start to do dance therapy, or what you're doing with the pizzica, is you're opening up all those chakras.
Stay lamari. Just lay down, stay where you are, and really think each wave is going to purify you and take away what you no longer need. Embraced by the water. You won't feel, don't worry, just relax, trust me. Trust me, it's about trust. Just stay down and do what I say. Just down and do what I say.
I really don't want this.
Just stay here, okay? You have to trust. It's all about trust, no more fear. Just relax and be good. There is only love here. There is nothing but love between us. So this is the sound of the goddess of love. More noise, inhale.
You know how to give and take. You know when somebody needs a little space to do their thing, and you know when they need your help and that they need your support and direction.
First, I want to ask you, did you feel transformation
doing this dance? Was it transformative for you personally?
Each time is different, but it's
Yeah.
always transformative.
Yeah.
And now you will meet some of the women and men who have transformed their life with me, following me to Italy and New York and other parts of the
And
world.
just talk, in the round, just as if we were sitting around talking about this in the living room after we've done this. Just what brought you here? What made you say, I want to do this with Alessandra?
5-6 years ago was in a really bad car accident. It changed me. It was traumatic, and I didn't deal with that right away, and so it just kind of was around me. It had a hold on me, and I had been very isolated, and I guess this was just the point where I chose to accept help from somebody else, from Alessandra, whom I trust and whom I've worked with. And for me that was a big thing, because it has been very difficult for me to ask for help from other people and to open up to other people. And so I think this is one of the first times that I've really embraced that.
Any of those things, if we could talk really personally about what you brought to this week.
Being here has been a process of claiming true self and claiming my work in the world, anchoring into it and knowing it. This is where I'm headed, rather than just flowing with what's around me.
I have been working with Alessandra for just a couple of months now. I've experienced a lot of growth in my life. I got married. I went to grad school. I quit jobs. As I start to discover that person as, someone in their mid to late 20s, and just fostering that growth and knowing internally that I am good enough for whatever direction I want to pursue.
On the left. That's it. Really close your arms in around your partner. Beautiful. Fantastic.
And Jillian, what about the body processes for you? How did they impact you this week? I know you were sharing what you brought with, but how did the actual, the work we did physically, how did it really facilitate that for you?
The work that we did physically really just showed that I was able to purge things.
You really did.
Metaphorically and literally in real life.
You get the award for the most vomit.
Yeah. But it was a nice kind of testament that I was ready to let go of things, and that even if, my analytical brain didn't know what I needed, my body did.
Absolutely.
And so I learned to trust my
knows.
body.
Sure.
Body wisdom.
But also watching these dance rituals and being a part of them, where we can truly be free to just listen internally and do what comes naturally, was just so refreshing. And it wasn't just therapy to have all eyes on you. It was therapy to watch everyone else deal with their anger and angst and fear and sadness and depression and loneliness and whatever they might have been carrying with them.
My name is Danielle. I live just outside of New York City, and I have a normal corporate job from 9 to 5, and then I have my dance life, which sometimes feels very separate. And it's been a lifelong passion, and the past 2 years I've been working with Alessandra has been life-changing. Other people have commented on it too, that I've been coming out of my shell. Yes, it's wild. It feels wild when I do it now. And there's just enough control where you're with the rhythm and you're with your partners and you're with the group.
So don't forget that, because I wanted to bring the wild woman out of you.
Well, my name is Peter Abazia. or abbazia,
Abbazia.
as it really is. I'm from the United States. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. I still live in New Jersey in Montclair, right outside of New York City, and I'm a public school teacher and a professional drummer and percussionist. It's something I like to get from this and see how you interact with the group and how you kind of foster that sense of trust. And I try and do that in my own relationships. This many women.
In different ages.
In different ages, so you get to see
culture.
Different cultures, different backgrounds. But there's this common thread that's weaved through it that, like the spider web,
Right.
you know, that
Absolutely.
where I guess they're looking for kind of a healing path through it to kind of open themselves up.
Now, your perspective of women, has it changed a little bit? Of what you search into a woman?
Definitely.
Really?
I know that there's a wild side, you know, that you don't always see, but you know deep down that there's something there. But I think it's also, you know, I always try and respect women, but I think it's brought a deeper respect for women. Beautiful about this whole thing that you do, Alessandra, is that you really mean it. Everything you do.
So you think it's real?
It's real. It's not. You're not phoning it in. It's not an act.
No.
And I think anyone, whether they're a musician or anything anyone does, if they really go for it and they mean it, I think you can see that in anything. And in you, it's a really beautiful thing that you do.
And so it was a struggle to really hear the rhythm and to really feel the rhythm. And it was kind of my will of wanting to control, and then the rhythm being like, you know, you gotta let go, and just
let go, or yours follow mine.
Yeah, exactly. And to trust something else, and to have faith that something will happen, that you will continue to dance or to live if you let go of control. And for me, that was the hardest thing, but once you do let go, it's it's fantastic.
How does the journey end? Well, you will see if you follow me to many different places. And you will see some of them drum and dance with me in the Wild Gypsy Club downtown New York City and in my musical Tarantella Spider Dance.